This is Evan Hay with KGVC News, and with me today is Mike Cortez, a young man whose parents happen to be a lesbian couple. Now, Mike is a college student who considers himself to be a rather political person, so he's paid pretty close attention to this presidential election. Thank you for being with us today, Mike.
Good to be here, Evan.
Now, Mike, I'm just going to jump right into it and say it, get this out here. I have heard that you may have caused some controversy among your friends because you have come out and said that you support Mitt Romney and would like to vote for him. How has that gone over?
Well, Evan, I will say this. I actually did vote for Mitt Romney, and I'm going to be frank with you. It wasn't because of his stance on social issues, which we all know he's against gay marriage and abortion. It was purely because I agreed with his economic policies more than President Barack Obama.
Okay. Now, as I said, you have parents who are a lesbian couple. How did they feel about this when you told them the news?
They were not very happy, as you can probably imagine. I know my biological mom almost completely freaked out on me over this issue. But when I explained to them it wasn't because of, abortion or gay rights, they kind of leveled off a bit and could see where I'm coming from. But they were still disappointed nonetheless.
What was their reaction exactly? What did they have to say to you?
Well, there was a lot of, oh my God, I cannot believe I raised a frickin' Republican. And the other one was, I'm very disappointed in you, but you're free to make your own choice. Which hurts a lot more than just being yelled at.
You said that you voted for him for economic reasons. That, would make sense generally. But would you say that those economic reasons he's been pushing so far forward outweigh social justices like, equal rights and gay marriage?
And that's one thing I really did struggle with when I decided to ultimately vote for him. But with me being a college student and me trying to get a job, pay off all these student loans, gay rights and abortion and all that stuff is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I will fight for them. But when it comes to making sure that I personally am able to live the lifestyle that the American dream can afford me, what's the point of having all that if you're not going to be able to have a job once you're done with college?
That's a boat that a lot of college students are in. Another thing I want to bring up, though, is that you are a part of Pride Club.
Yes.
And you were serving as a leader for Pride Club, who is definitely a club that is for gay marriage and gay rights. How did they feel about the situation, knowing that one of their members was supporting someone who is completely against what they believe?
Look, we're all adults here. We understand that we're allowed to make our own political choices. I mean, I talked to Bethany Wilcox about this, and I had the very exact same reservations that you have. And what she basically told me was, I'm allowed to vote whoever I want who can benefit me individually, personally. Now, if that affects anyone else in a negative way, so be it. But when you vote for somebody in a presidential election, you have to choose the person who will benefit you personally.
But then again, to bring back the topic of you personally, you are the child of a lesbian couple, and I don't know if you've heard about this story, but it's been brought to attention that when Governor Romney was governor of Massachusetts, there was a woman and her partner who were in 1995 having their first child. And when Mitt Romney spoke with the woman who was giving birth, she turned to ask him if things continue, what is she supposed to tell her daughter? When she asks why her mothers cannot be married like her other friends' parents be married. And he looked her dead in the eye and said, I don't care how you lie to your adopted daughter, but, and then continued to state his views that have not changed and not wavered on the issue of gay marriage. How do you feel about that? What if that would have been your parents in that situation?
Okay, that's a loaded question. That's a political ad. Political ads like to misconstrue everything. I know the Romney campaign released an Obama ad saying that, when Obama came out about 3 months ago saying that the private sector and the middle class is doing fine. Obviously, that's not the case. We've seen the middle class shrink substantially since the Great Recession. So if we're going to put political ads in these, I can understand your point, trying to bring some, trying to make so that we can all feel for their situation, but we also have to make sure that we pick circumstances that are unbiased.
Of course, and I'm sorry to keep you in the hot seat here. Thank you for being here with us today. You've been a great sport, Michael. This is Evan Hay with KGVC News.